Greetings, everyone. It's What's the Tea with Nikkolayla here again, face to face. Ting, ting, ting. Well, anyway, there is, life is happening. Life is moving. I'm very grateful for my life. I'm grateful for your life. And I'm going to be adding an addition, and it might pop in and out. I'm not going to always have words to share, but there's going to, as far as words, like I'm adding something brand new in like etymology words, because we utilize certain words in our life and we don't really actually realize what we're saying. And I learned along my most recent journey about etymology. And I'm not a professional etymologist at this time. However, I'm studying um, etymology words as I move along in my life, because we have to be very careful about what words that we do utilize. And I'll be adding some things in. There's one that I'm thinking about it right now, and that's understand, but I'm just putting it out there. I'm not going to give the definition exactly right now, but people are always saying, "Oh, I understand you." Well, it's just think of it. When you get under something, that means you're under it. That means you don't connect with it. You're under it. You're not in it. But anyway, I digress. I just want to use that word. Anyway, so the word that I'm going to share right now, it is nice. Everybody goes around using this word nice. I don't even remember when I came upon learning what the meaning to this word was, but when I did find out about it, I noticed there's a lot of people that love using this word nice. And I don't care to use it. I have heard some people, after I've shared it with them, use it in, the right way. It's not a very, it is a, it, it's a nice word. So let me give you the definition of the word nice from the etymononline.com dictionary. And you can look it up yourself so you can find out when people are saying nice, what they're really saying. So the word nice means this is in its adjective form, nice, late 13th century. I'm just going to read some of it. Foolish, ignorant, frivolous, senseless. From Old French nice, 12th century. Careless, clumsy, weak, poor, needy, simple, stupid, silly, foolish. From Latin, necessius, ignorant, unaware, literally not knowing. The sense development has been extraordinary, even for an adjective. Okay, so from timid, faint-hearted, fussy, fastidious, daintily, delicate. Well, the first portions of the definition, as you can see, they don't sound very positive now, do they? And if you've watched movies and shows, there's so many people using that word nice. Oh, you're so nice. What are they really saying to you if they really know the meaning? Because people are always, oh, you're so nice. No, I'm not. I'm not nice. I'm kind. I'm loving. I'm caring. I'm wise. I'm considerate. But I am not nice. And don't ever utilize that word in conjunction to my life, because it just gonna bounce right back to you. But anyway, I just wanted to share that word. So right now, lately, I've been on my personal journey, and I've come to some conclusions for myself in my life and had to make some decisions. And sometimes I take my recorder, and when I have an inspirational moment, I'll record what I'm going through. And so most recently, I had to make some decisions regarding my own personal relationship in my life. And sometimes when you have your own personal relationships in your life, and you don't necessarily, not to say that you don't have somebody to bounce off something with, but if you already have internal wisdom and you don't feel led, like you are connected and you have a feeling that you're connected to your highest sovereign self. That's where I'm at right now. I have a feeling of being connected to my highest sovereign self. So since I have that feeling of being connected to my highest sovereign self, I am I'm comfortable with my intuitive intuition, my internal decision making, the feeling that I know that makes me feel right. I don't feel like I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what decision should I make? Oh, I need to read a magazine or talk to somebody." My internal wisdom and knowledge to make a choice in my life is within me. I have the ability to do that. And so I just most recently made a decision in my life, and I'm always talking about self-love. And so, as you know, my show is about inspiration, love, joy, kindness, compassion, and passion, and all those attributes and virtues that we all utilize in some way, shape, or form in our lives with people that we love and we know. And you also need to implement them within yourself, for yourself, because there's those particular virtues and attributes that are most beneficial for you in your life while you're living it. And so most recently I had to make a decision, and here's the thing. When there are difficult decisions, and I can call them difficult in my own personal life, sometimes I have to sit back and just like let them process that. And you can have you if you watch yourself and you watch certain kind of stages that you go through. Well, anyway, when I was recording what I was expressing, I had finally come to a conclusion of the decision that I needed to make regarding my own personal relationship. And it had to do with self-love and speaking my truth and expressing myself, because the first and foremost thing that you have to do is connect with yourself. And so connecting with your feelings, connecting with your thoughts, and find out and like, just take everything in. It's kind of like you're taking every feeling, every thought, every expression, every experience that you can think of, and you just allow yourself to feel through it. Well, I can't say I actually know exactly when or where the experience for me kind of clicked, but I had already tried to attempted to reach out to somebody so I can express it to someone else, and they were non-responsive. And so since they were non-responsive, it left me with, I mean, and quite honestly, it's actually good that they were non-responsive to me, because it could have influenced my decision in another way. And it really doesn't matter, because ultimately, at the end of it all, your feelings, what you feel inside of yourself, what you feel in your solar plexus, that is your power center. Your solar plexus is in that tummy area of your body, where it is a chakra system, and that's where you tap into your power. Well, sometimes with me, I can feel that power center like go off. There's something going on. It's kind of like that's this internal signal that's like, you need to make a decision or something. I can feel it. And so once you become more familiar, and it doesn't happen overnight. Some people are more tuned into their bodies and some people are not. Doesn't mean that it will never happen. It definitely will, but there are processes to go through to get to that stage, to become more sensitive to yourself, and your body feelings, and how you are just feeling. Some people don't know that they're possibly disconnected from their bodies. Like, say, for instance, you're having pain and you ignore it. Well, that is like you're just not paying. You're choosing not to pay attention. You're like, oh, I'm okay. Or you're probably not saying that out loud. You just in your mind, it's like, oh, I'm okay. Or you just completely ignore it. And it's like your body gives you signals to let you know that something's out of order, or something's out of whack, or something's going on. The most important thing to do is listen to it. Get in a quiet space and listen to your body and find out what is happening to you. And if in the event that you are not at that place, go see a doctor. If you're comfortable with, you're more comfortable with going to see a doctor. If you have pain in an area, go see a doctor. Everybody is not, in the same arena of their spirituality. Everybody's not me, and I'm not everybody. However, these are the choices that I make. I sit down and I tune into myself and I go, something's out of order, or something's out of whack. It just allows me to remain sensitive to myself and what I'm feeling and what I know about my internal mechanisms and movements. We all have them. It's just that there's stages to get to that place if you're not already sensitive to how you feel about anything. We're all energy, but that's not something that we're taught on a daily basis, that we're energy. People talk about quantum physics. Now, I don't know much about quantum physics, but that has to do with energy. So anyway, when you're upset, that's energy. When you're happy, that's energy. So when you have inspiration, you have joy, that's energy. That's all energy. But we're not taught that in our day-to-day life. So I'm just sharing a little piece of my little story. So anyway, basically, I had to make a decision. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I can't consider it difficult or easy. I just went through the process. And ultimately, as I've said before, loving yourself is the most important part. And so what I discovered for myself was that making this particular decision for myself, it stemmed first from loving myself first. Not someone else, loving me and only me. Nikkolayla. Loving me first. And we all have to make certain decisions about things in our lives. We do it on a day-to-day basis, constantly making certain decisions about where we're going, what we're doing, how we're operating in certain areas of our lives. We're constantly making decisions. And ultimately, what I discovered for myself is, if you made a decision, any decision in your life, choose self-love first. When you're making any decision, choose self-love first and ask yourself a question. Am I loving myself in this decision making first? Because if you don't love yourself, who else is going to love you? And I even had this conversation with my mother, and I was talking to my mother, and I had let her know the decision that I had made. And I look for the outside to have somebody else tell me, oh, well, you should make this decision. Because here's the thing. People always want to tell you, if you share a story, don't get me wrong, if you've shared a story and you're looking for someone to give you advice, that's where you are. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. However, ultimately, when it comes down to you making a particular decision for yourself, when it comes down to it, you're still the only one that's going to make the decision, ultimately, whether you've taken their advice or not. You are the one that's going to make the decision. So, when you make your decision about whatever it is, I would suggest you be very happy and joyful about it. Now, it might not always feel good for whatever decision that you do choose. I'm going to say that again. It might not always feel good for whatever decision that you're making, even though it is a decision for loving yourself. I think there's possibly stages in this, because the more and more you love yourself, the more and more it gets easier. And when I say loving yourself, I'm saying making decisions that you internally know and you're confident that I feel really good about this. I might not, it might be considered something like tough love. Each time you make a decision that actually is more loving you, you're getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it becomes less and less difficult for you to make a decision that normally if you've been in a Catholic church or somewhere where they've put this guilt mindset on people, and this society, these religious societies have put guilt on people, guilt trips. It's like, you need to do this for me, you need to do this for your mother, you need to do this for this person, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Who are you to tell me what I need to do for myself? There's so much of that has been going on for years and years. These guilt trippy concepts. I personally do not believe in any of that. I am so grateful that my mother never implemented that inside of my consciousness. And even when I grew up, and I grew up going to church my whole life, that was never incorporated. I never had a guilty mentality, but I did not grow up in a Catholic church at all either. But I know that in the Catholic church, it's like guilt is like shame, and guilt. It's like, oh my God, those are very heavy energies. I don't want that for my life. I don't want that for anybody's life, but it's a choice. If you want to take that for yourself and you feel okay with that, with someone telling you, you need to do this for grandma, or you need to do this for mom, or you need to do this for your dad, or you need to do this for your sister, go ahead and do it. There's nothing wrong with you making that choice. But remember, at the end of the day, it's your choice. You've chosen the pathway to that choice. You've done it yourself. Take the power back and say, I did it. You're responsible for every choice that you make. No matter if there's somebody else on the sidelines going, do this, and then you agree with them. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. I was having a conversation with one of my spiritual sisters on the phone most recently, and actually just last night. She made a statement, and she's like, "Oh no, you should." And I had already made my decision, and I thought to myself, I thought, yeah, okay, well, I feel confident about my decision, so you're not going to change my mind. I'm pretty solidified on the decision I made, and I'm confident about it because it feels good to me. The decision I made was loving myself in a relationship, loving myself, making a choice saying, I'm not choosing to do this with you anymore in this way. It is no longer my desire to be here in that space. Because I have to speak my truth. I would do myself an injustice. And I would even expect the other person to not be honest with me, to express themselves. If there's something that they need to express about whatever they're feeling, they haven't had a problem saying they can't do this or they can't do that with me to some degree. That is making them feel okay. I actually am okay with that. See, that's the interesting thing about relationships as well, is that one person, if you're not on the same page, I can tell you, the relationship is not going to work because you're not on the same page. I was doing some coaching with a couple. They wanted to stay together. They were in two different parts of the country. One was in Nevada, and one was in California. And neither of them were willing to change where they lived. And they wanted to be together, and one of them wanted to spend a whole bunch of time with the other one, and the other one was willing to go out and visit the man was willing to go and visit the woman in California, but it wasn't enough time for her. She needed more time, so it wasn't what she desired, right? So I did my coaching session with them, and I allowed them to express themselves, and just they let it all out, and and after they had let whatever they needed to let out, I kindly expressed to them, and which I told them, When I do a coaching counseling session with a couple, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what I hear. I'm going to tell you what I see. I'm going to tell you what I know. And I'm going to tell you what I feel. And I'm going to be truly honest with you. Now, if you don't like what I'm saying to you, that's on you. I can't help you, but I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm not going to sit here and do patty cake, patty cake, patty cake. You know, you're not going to get this beautiful little cake if it's not going to turn out that way for you, in all honesty, because you're not on the same page. And ultimately, that's what it came down to. So we tend to kind of go through this struggle. It's like, I want this and I want that. And you're just like, you're kind of pretty much stretching out the dramatics of the relationship. And it's like, ultimately, you're not on the same page because nobody's willing to make a step towards each other. And so it's like I immediately called it within the first session to let them know that you both are not on the same page. We can have another counseling session, and he's sitting here trying to fix her because his ego's too big and he can't see his own crap. So it's like, but he wants to pay for her to have a session privately with me. It's like, honey, you actually are the one that really needs the counseling and the coaching, because you're sitting up here talking about her. Anybody that ever tells you that it's you, you can tell them, I think you might want to go and look in the mirror, because whatever you see in me, that's your stuff too. Especially if you're telling me it's my stuff. It's my stuff. It's your stuff. It's all you. It's like, okay, well, if it is mine, I'm going to take a look at it and see if it is mine. But if it's not mine. But also be humble enough to find out whether it is yours or not. See, I've had to do that myself. That old internal work thing, when I started doing my relationship reinvented classes to become a coach, a relationship coach, I went on my journey for my own personal growth. I needed to find out more about me and more about why relationships weren't working out for me. It's like, why is this not working out for me? And ultimately, I had to go within myself and find out where I had abandonment issues, where I had rejection issues. And every time a scenario came up that was a trigger for me, I had to go within myself and find out why that was happening. And ultimately, it was coming from one of my parents. I got a lot of stuff and stories from my parents. Both of them, whether they were in my life or not. There was still stuff that was looming in my interactions with them. Because you are the makeup of your parents, whether you think you're not. And even if they've never been in your life before, there's still something there. There could be hurt, pain, lack of communication. And so that is one of my biggest triggers most lately, is there's been a lack of communication. So I had to express my truth in self-love for myself, because I watched it come up for me. And so since it was coming up for me, I had to process through it. And on the other end of speaking my truth, yes, I spoke my truth. And my truth said that I needed to say that this right here of what is happening is not what I desire. I have to have what I desire. I deserve to have what I desire. I'm going to have what I desire. And so can you. Everything that you have, I want to say desire, not want, because want means that you don't have it. The desires that you have inside of you, in your heart, in your soul, they're there for a reason. They're kind of like your guiding tool to let you know, I'm off the mark of what I really, really choose, what I really prefer in my life, right? So why can't I have that? Who told me I couldn't have that? You can have it, but you have to decide that you You desire it so much for yourself that you're willing to speak it out and express it and say that I deserve this. Yes, you can. And I can guarantee you that I will. I will. I will have whatever I desire. Why? Because it's inside of me to have it. I'm not making it up. I can feel it. And so once I made my decision, and I had said that, when I was doing my little recording thing, I came up with this. I don't know if anybody's familiar out there with the 0 to 14, where you have your acid and you have your base. Now there's two ends. The acid is in the most acidic pH level is on the 0 side, and the most basic is it goes up to number 14 on the pH balance scale of anything like soap or your urine, or each thing that has a physical expression like water would be considered more balanced, depending on if there's no acid in the water. It's just more balance of more. It has to still have some acid in it, but it's more at a more balanced state. Or the words alkaline and acidity. Those phrases have been coming out quite often. An alkaline diet, some people have said, or alkaline water. So the more the higher the number, the more alkaline that expression is. Fruits and vegetables, they can be considered more alkaline on it instead of acidic. So anyway, so this thought process came to me, and I was like, well, I'm going to utilize that as my parameter for processing what my balance space is, which would be me being in my vortex. And I've talked about that on other shows when I was just speaking about my own personal experiences in life, and being mindful of myself. Well, anyway, what I came to the conclusion of was that I could be on an acidic phase, which would mean like I'm cussing and I'm pissed off and I'm angry at that other person. And then it's like, okay, I'm getting it out. I just, because the thoughts can still be there, or the feelings can still be there, but do they really have any clout? It's like, okay, ultimately you got to get to that mirror, looking at yourself in the mirror. And to me, looking at yourself in the mirror is going to the more on the 14 side of the pH scale for, before you can even get to a balance, and you're of processing your stuff, processing your experience. And so for me, I wanted to get to a place of balance, but I didn't realize I was doing this. It was just naturally happening. And I'm utilizing this as an example so people have something, you have something to relate to in that middle ground of being in a place of balance. And so when you're at a place of balance, you are, to me, is that you're in a place of more loving the whole scenario. You have the ability to love the other person. You have the ability to love yourself. And you have the ability to love the whole entire dynamic of the experience. We're not taught that. We're not taught to love the whole entire experience, because ultimately it's for my own personal growth, and I am growing. I'm not staying stagnant. I'm moving ahead. I'm moving along. I'm learning something new. That's what love does to you, boy. I remember Kashif, love changes. Love changes you. You transform. You can't help it. But it's always for the good if you choose for it to be for good. So my inspirational talk today is I learned more about what I desired, and I decided to be in a more balanced state after I processed through, because I was on the acidic side of like, screw that. I'm not doing it, And then I went on the more basic side of like, looking at myself in the mirror and going, okay, this is my stuff. So what do you really desire? And ultimately, what helped me along the way with it was that I went back to my balance space, and my balance space was love for myself. Loving myself first was what helped me make the necessary decision and expressing myself. And then when I express myself, I still express myself to that other person with all the love that I have in myself to offer. Like, I truly love this person. And so since I love this person, I express my love for them, but also love for myself. And it wasn't angry, and it wasn't frustrating, and it wasn't, but I still got to say what I needed to say. And at the same time, loving the scenario, loving them, and loving myself. And it's like, wow, it's amazing. It's amazing. You don't have to be on one side or the other. You can have all of it when you're making a decision. And that's what I learned for myself. I learned that I didn't have to be upset and angry with this person, that they are making their own necessary choices for themselves. I just don't have to go along with it and except for but express myself. And if they love me enough to be okay with the decision that I've made thus far, then there's still more love there. No one loses. It's just a win-win situation. So, excuse me. That's what I learned. That's what I learned on my journey. And I feel fantastic. I feel amazing. So, anyway, I'm going to keep you abreast because I'm going out of town, and I'll let you know when I get there because, man, woo! I'm on another self-love journey for myself. I've made some new decisions in my life, and I'm just so excited about them. It's just so great. Okay. I just had to get that out because I've been like patting myself on the back and just saying a hooray, hurrah, and it's just there's more to come. There's more love out there for all of us. So I say take the reins. If you got to make some more decisions about loving yourself, do it. And it's all about what you desire in your life that is good for you no matter what. Okay? So anyway, I look forward to seeing you, and you'll be taking a trip with me because I'm going to share some footage eventually when I'm on my journey. So I thank you so much. I am so grateful for you, and I am sending the most expressive and amazing love for your journey because it's only going to get better. Whatever choices that you make that move you towards more of you and more of the expansiveness of who you really are. I'm so grateful for that because I can't wait to see more of you. So anyway, be that love, be that compassion, be that passion, be that kindness, be that joy, and be that inspiration that you always are and that you were created to be in this lifetime and beyond. So this is Face to Face with What's the Tea with Nikkolayla. Ting, 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 ting. Anyway, love more of yourself. And I give thanks for your life. And you be great and good to yourself every single day. And don't be nice to yourself because it's just foolish and stupid. Because that's what it means. Foolish and stupid. You don't want to be foolish and stupid. So stop using that word. But do what you want. I'm just the messenger. Love you. Be well. Bye-bye for now.